All right, welcome back. I hope you're enjoying the show so far. Our next speaker is Rahul Goyal. He is Senior Director, Enterprise Data and Analytics at Optum. Please join me in welcoming him to our virtual stage.
Yeah. Thanks, Patrika. Hi, everyone. I'm Rahul Goyal. I'm the Senior Director with Optum. And I'll go ahead and talk about how AI ML is empowering and improving the customer experience. A little bit background about me and why I love to talk about customer experience. So um, my biggest driver of even coming into healthcare was some of our own personal experiences dealing with health issues. And um, we got an opportunity to come to one of the best companies, I would say, on the planet in terms of healthcare and thinking about their members, and come in and really focus on things that we experienced before me being in healthcare, and how perhaps I could do my part in helping improve the overall experience in healthcare. A little bit about Optum. I know a lot of people knows about Optum, but every now and then I meet few people who don't know about Optum. So Optum is part of the parent company UnitedHealth Group, which also has United Healthcare. And so Optum is a company that works with various entities within healthcare, whether it's government, health plan, hospital, life sciences, employers, and consumers. Across all these different relationships, it gives us a distinct and broad perspective, allowing us to forge connection, recommend best practices, and increase efficacy in a way that is unmatched. At Optum, together we can create the best possible outcomes for our partners, clients, and the people we serve. I'm going to talk a little bit about a few statistics with Optum. We are grateful to serve and partner with 9 out of 10 Fortune 100 companies, 4 out of 5 health plans, over 100 federal, state, and municipal agencies, including 22 states and DC, 9 out of 10 US hospitals, 90,000 plus physicians, practices, and other facilities, 90 plus life sciences organization, and over 127 million consumers, including military, veterans, medical and Medicare and Medicaid beneficiaries. And when we say connect and serve, it's more than a tagline, it's our entire operating philosophy. Before I get into the meat of the presentation, I want to talk a little bit about responsible use of AI. And again, this topic has been in conversation a lot recently, and there is a lot of buzz and noise around it. So we want to make sure that I start up my presentation addressing that core component. So at United Health Group, we use artificial intelligence in support of our mission to help people live healthier lives and help make the healthcare system work better for everyone. AI to us is not singular technology, but rather an umbrella term that includes deep learning, machine learning, natural language processing to perform smart tasks we often associate with the human mind, such as learning and reasoning. Recognizing that the use of AI in healthcare can present opportunities and risks, we adopted guidelines and principles to help us in our responsible use of AI in healthcare. So some of these guidelines are around mission driven. So basically we are mission driven, and we want to keep it consistent with our mission on helping people live healthier lives and helping make the system work better for everyone. And so we're very much focused when we think about AI and how it's going to help us on that mission for everyone and for everybody. Trust, that's again one of our core philosophies or guiding principles, is to be able to build system that's built around human-centered design, or keeping human in the loop, and enabling it in a way that builds trust, with organization, with individuals, and so forth. Fairness for everybody. That's another big principle of ours. Accountability. We want to make sure that anything that we establish out there, we have accountability measures for our AI, and we can swiftly and be prepared to act swiftly to address and remediate any AI misuses or adverse outcomes. Transparency. We want to implement mechanisms that enable reviews of data and AI outputs, where AI is used to support decision affecting individuals or their care. And then privacy. We want to use industry best practices that safeguard data privacy in the design, deployment, and use of AI as consistent with applicable laws and regulation. Now let's get into our core of the presentation. So why AI, right? I know a lot of people know about AI and how it can help in certain ways, but there are still a lot of people who jump on AI bandwagon because it's a buzzword, because everybody is talking about it. So I wanted to maybe do a little bit of grounding on, why AI analytics is needed. So if you think about, the customers at this at the center of the universe, you're dealing with customers, who have multiple attributes: age, gender, income, geography, other demographic sets, including their social determinants of health. You have those customers interacting with our multiple touch points. It could be digital call, it could be a provider office, it could be through mail, or even some of the new intelligent devices, which I would say vastly fall under the digital umbrella. And then they are interacting with us on our multiple product offerings, whether it could be around the pharmacy, it could be around our own health apps, it could be around our specific programs with our providers, or any specific clinical programs that we do an outreach to our members as well. And then if you think about it in the context of this, a complex process of an organization too, that spans across a lot of these products and business functions itself. So if you think about all those attributes surrounding the customers, and their biggest expectations, being able to give them the best possible service, AI analytics can definitely help understand that viewpoint and how best we can address those customers. So I'll, end of the day, I'll state, our customers are expecting better services personalized to them at a speed of light. And I would believe that holds true for not just healthcare, but everybody. But healthcare, it's a lot more personal. I'll talk a little bit about, what do analysts say about AI and customer experience as it relates to businesses. So I want to share a little bit of, a few different statistics around this. So according to Gartner, AI-derived business value will triple to nearly 4 trillion by end of 2022, and the customer experience is central to it. That's a huge, huge number. Another survey from Salesforce, they say 51% of companies are now choosing AI to improve and hyper-personalize the customer experience. And another statistics from them that kind of comes out is that AI has a positive impact on customer success operations. This is coming from the people who are working in the contact center. So 78% of think that AI is creating a positive experience. So in my mind, AI solutions and innovations are the key to futures and will enable better results for all customers. So what's the influence sphere of AI, right? So we talked about different attributes on what all you need, on why we should do AI, the value, sort of like the AI from the analyst perspective, but where all can you apply the AI? So I listed out a few of the different areas. Certainly, I operate in this larger realm in my work, and where we are focused on driving value and outcomes for our customers. So I'll touch a few, quickly on a few of them. So, like for example, direct to consumer digital call provider office. If you think about it, AI is pretty much embedded in all of those areas. AI machine learning into be able to understand um, what our members are doing, where their conversations end, and where the next conversations could start. What um, what is the um, clinical programs that we can do for our members that might help us to proactively identify things and being able to proactively support them in their healthcare journey, whether it comes to disease management or whether it comes to care pathways. What's the right optimal care for a member, or even steerage programs around like where they can find the best services and care for them. If you look a little bit internal on the healthcare operation side, AI is helping streamline business processes. They're helping fast track a lot of work in terms of um, like prior auth, where previously it used to take humans, doctors, nurses, a lot of hours to review, and sometimes they will miss finer information, which is now is conveniently elicited to them through use of different models that can um, pick on images and pick on things that is uh, you know might not be as conducive to a human eye. So that's where a big piece of that also comes in sales. You think about in terms of how can you make sure when you're reaching out to your members or prospect, what's the right time to call, where they're more likely to receive the information in a positive manner. Marketing, you talk about lifetime member value, marketing mix model, media mix model, propensity model. Propensity models can kind of overlays with the clinical programs itself. So who are the likely members that might enroll into, let's say, healthy pregnancy programs, and so how best you can reach out to them and um, optimize not just your processes and costs, but also the results for those members, because they are more likely to take the benefits for those programs and act on those benefits as well. So I ways AI about like what all the different spheres that can go, but how is it actually changing the customer experience? It's making more accurate and personalized recommendations. Um, so if I know that I need additional care in relation to my current condition, and I might be better off spending maybe additional days in my care. Um, that's where it's making those predictions so that you don't have to go into remission of those issues. That's just one example. Or a member is reaching out to us, being able to determine um, and understand this is where their last conversation ended and this is where you want to start. I think that's again personalized to why did somebody call? Why did somebody connect? Or how does that relate to their health? Or how does it relate to our benefits? So making accurate and personalized recommendation, efficient and friendly service. So back to my point of like, being able to know what a customer needs. I think that's one of the key pivots as well. Support in real-time data support decision making. So that also goes in on both the provider as well as the other organizations supporting it, and helping make key decisions in the support of our members. Improve product recommendations. So knowing what a customer is using today and how best they could use maybe additional products or services that might be beneficial to them. That's another big area. And of course, round the clock customer support. So you could see nowadays, you have bots beyond your typical call center or a typical chat client. And so there are a lot of services again, within those broader five, voice enabled, streamlined customer interaction, marketing, and so forth. So um, huge opportunity. I'm going to quickly talk about like some of the how AI is helping facilitate a better understanding of the customer. So some different quotes, we talked about a little bit about chatbot. We talked about analyzing different data sets that include social, historical, behavioral data in being able to understand customers. But here is some a few quotes that basically collected from our own internal teams and how AI is helping our members. And I'll read just one of them. Is like hyper personalization combines AI and real-time data to deliver content that is specifically relevant to customer. It's huge for us. That's one use case I wanted to quickly throw in, before the end of our presentation here, and basically how we are using AI to track how customers feel. So we're going beyond the traditional CSATs and NPS scores because they don't tend to pick up on the emotional responses, the emotional part of it. And that's where AI can show you what you're missing. You might be scored 10, but then there might be things that the customers are trying to lay out for you, which shows where you can further fine tune your services or where you can add services. And so that's where it can help you drive insight driven strategies, where you can use some of that information from your natural language processes to train the software cues to your employees on what's important to your customers, or you can determine the root cause on why a customer responded in the way that they responded. And then, of course, prioritize action to improve the customer experience, whether in terms of the product needs, whether in terms of how our services are done, or what are the root causes that needs attention. So that's all I had today, everyone. I hope this was insightful. I hope it gives you a little bit more grounding on where you can apply, how you can apply, and what are some of the maybe use cases you want to explore. And again, I'm always reachable if somebody wants more information in terms of how they can use AI and what we have done, or if there are certain practices that they should deploy in their own organizations. Happy to have a discussion and available as you need. Thank you, everybody.
Amazing, Rahul. Thank you so much for sharing with us today. I know this virtual audience is giving you a huge virtual round of applause. Thank you again. And for the audience, it's time for you to make your way to your next session. Along the way, make sure you accept your connection request and take some time to check out our awesome exhibits. Thanks so much, and we'll see you around.